Hey guys, real quick before we get started, I just wanted to thank everyone for 100,000 subscribers. This is absolutely crazy that I'm here. I never thought I'd get to 100,000. That's nuts because that means 100,000 of you are now watching me. That's cool. So yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for supporting my channel along this journey, and I wanted to also say that I now have merch, so go check out the link down in the description. Also, I launched my Patreon. Subscribing and watching my channel already means the world to me, but if you do have the resources, means, or desire to support my channel and help make my videos better, you can check out the tiers and rewards on my Patreon. There's no pressure whatsoever, but if you are interested, you can check out the link below. These videos do take a long time, and I want to keep making more of them, and any extra support really does help make them possible. So whether you're supporting me through my Patreon, my merch, or just being a wonderful subscriber, I really truly thank you for being on this journey with me, and it really means a lot. So with all that out of the way, let's get started with the video. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Kelly Redesign Something that nobody really asked for. So, based on everyone's feedback from my last video, some of y'all really seem to think I should do more of an in-depth behind the scenes of everything that goes into doing a rebrand. So I thought, what's a brand that I could do that would really either aggravate some people because it is a cherished brand, or could really excite some people because it is such a popular and well-known brand? So what could I do? And so I thought I could do some really intense logo, packaging, branding in general, so everyone can see kind of like how a brand applies itself, especially in packaging, because that's such a intense, in-depth design process, and it's really important for a lot of consumer goods. So I thought we'd do none other than Flamin Hot Cheetos. Hell yeah. And these are just for me. Do that comically loud. Why did you get me these? Okay. Gus's head just came into the frame. Gus. Oh no. Oh no. Now, I know everyone loves Flamin Hot Cheetos because, why wouldn't you? So diving a little bit into the Cheetos brand, they've had this packaging for quite a while, and if you actually look at the, I'll try to keep this bag away from the mic because that's really loud. This bag is broken down into thirds, so it has this stripe pattern. You can kind of see it more on the side here of yellow, red, orange, and they've got Chester Cheetah on the, that's his name, right? They got Chester Cheetah on the front, you got Flamin' Hot in the red, and then the Cheetos kind of straddling the orange and the red. Having a dwink. So other than that, it's a pretty simple package. I think it's a little meh to me, and I know that would make some people angry, but I think I could do more of an artisanal twist on it because I'm a graphic designer who wants to do that. So obviously this is going to be remaking it a little bit into more of an indie brand, as if Flamin Hot Cheetos were a smaller brand that hired a fancy agency to do a super modern, minimal packaging, branding, everything. So that's the approach I'm going to be taking. I'm sorry if you don't like that approach. That's it. Anything else I should address? So another quick disclaimer before we start, I want to address some of the criticism based on my last video. This whole process to make one of these design videos, I know they're really long, and I know a half-hour, 40-minute video isn't for everyone. The great thing is though, is that you can skip through it, pause it, come back to it later. So I don't feel bad if you don't want to watch a 30-minute video because nobody's making you. And for some people who actually want to see this process, that is really helpful. Second thing, when you rebrand something that already exists out into the market, generally it takes a lot of time and a lot of resources and a lot of money to actually successfully implement a rebrand. Generally, there are teams of people who do this all together. They have all of this info from these brands, stuff that you wouldn't know as an average consumer. So for me, someone who's just twiddling around in Adobe for YouTube, I don't have any of these resources. So I am kind of dumbing it down a little bit, showing you guys like the tip of the iceberg of this process. And all together, I'm gonna guess this is gonna take me about 6 hours to do. It's 3:15 right now. I started this about 2 hours ago, planning everything out in my approach that I'm gonna take. So I imagine this is gonna take quite a while to actually finish. And this is just something I'm doing in one day. So these are things that take a long time and a lot of different designers, a lot of different eyes for it to go through. So pardon me, because this is for fun. These brands are not paying me. I'm not responding to anyone. I'm not reporting to anyone. This is just for fun. It's for me. So y'all can see my process, see how a designer would approach something like this. Also, the last note is that I work 50-hour weeks at my full-time design job where all of my creativity is drained all day, every single day. So pardon me if I don't come home bursting with creativity. I'm doing my best, but creativity is a finite resource, so I'm sorry if you don't like it. Leave me alone. Okay, let's get started. All right, so now I opened Illustrator and I already kind of know what my plan of action is going to be. Whether you like it or not, I already sketched out what I'm gonna do and you can't really see it because of the light, but it's there, I promise. So there are a few pillars to this brand that I do wanna keep, including those stripes, and I do wanna keep Chester Cheetah because unlike the Starbucks mermaid, I do think that Chester Cheetah is a really fun and fundamental part of Cheetos, and I really don't wanna take that away, especially because a lot of us grew up kind of like watching Chester Cheetah on like commercials and like in packaging. So I do want to keep that because it is like a sentimental value to me personally more than the Starbucks mermaid. So I have Illustrator open and real quick, Maddie, where did you put the measuring tape? Oh, it's right there. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is start building out like this front panel for the packaging. And it is about 9.5 inches by 6. Cool. So I'm just gonna write. Okay, now the first thing I'm gonna start with is the logo. Now, I'm gonna be simplifying this logo a little bit, but also gonna try some different approaches with some different fonts. Now I know logos are more than just fonts, but bear with me. So this first font I found is called Lemongrass. So that is lemongrass. I really liked it because it's kind of a retro font, and y'all know I like my retro fonts. Next one is called Gitan. That one in all caps looks magnificent. And then for the last one, Cortado. I liked this in all caps, and I also liked it in just a title case like that. So all of these I don't really mind, and I'm gonna kind of keep them aside for once I start building out like the packaging, and I might change my mind later. Who knows? Now, I'm really drawn to both of these. Their logo right now kind of has like this handwritten feel, which kind of like appeals more to this. So I don't know, maybe I'll get rid of that one. So I think I'm gonna build out each of these a bit. Now I'm gonna go in and hand kern these so they're a little bit closer together. And yeah, you can do this before you outline it, but let me see personal preference. Okay, so I added a bit of a flag warp on that, so that's what that looks like. Into that, I'm gonna put that one aside. I'm gonna do something with this. I like how heavy this is, and I think this would read really well as just an arced font. So how do I wanna do this? I'll just do the same warp tool. This time I'm gonna choose arc. Okay, and for this one, I think I would leave this pretty much just like straight across, but I am gonna adjust the kerning on this. So here are 3 tentative logos. And my computer is starting to fight me already. We're doing great, guys. All right, cool. So logos, we're chilling for now, but I will build them out later. Those are just the bare bones of something I'm feeling. Now for the next part, I'm gonna build out some of these color palettes. Or I guess like my singular color palette. Keeping the original, I'm gonna go in the order of the bag here. Pulling off the rainbow because this isn't gonna go to print, so I'm not gonna pull Pantones. But I do want something slightly more tonal, so I might push a little bit more. And I'm gonna pop this into RGB because I wanna have some fun with this. Cool. Maybe I'll make that more of my red and go a little bit more like pastel-y orange. Ooh, and then for this one, into our yellows. right, guys, into those. So now I'm gonna make a box that is gonna be the size of our front panel, which is 6 by 9.5. Now I will build out the back panel just for like mock-up purposes, but I'm not gonna show any of that because it's not as exciting. Hello, I said become white. There we go. So we have this front panel. Now, what I want to do is divvy this up into these 3 stripes here, much like the original packaging. So I'm going to take a small brush and I'm going to go in, and on the original packaging, there is like for the actual lines, they're not just straight across lines, they are little flames, and I'm going to keep those, but maybe like simplify them a little bit.
Let me see that smile.
That looks awful. Okay, we got that front loose flame outline done. Now they're not going to be as rounded as that because I am going to make them solid shapes as they fill down, so it'll be much sharper once I invert it to a regular shape. So now I'm going to go in and add my main back color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab these and make it an actual box. So now that is a shape, continuous shape. If we just flip that, so now you can see kind of what I meant, like it's gonna have like that sharper edge that goes up and along, and that is going to become our red, like so. Now for the final one, it's gonna do the same thing I did there, connect these anchor points and make it yellow, like that. Already really into this, quite different from the original already. Not totally sold on that orange anymore. I might end up changing it, who knows, but coolio. Now I'm gonna grab this one. Grab all 3 of these. Command 7, that didn't work. Let's see if I grab this in this group, that, Command 7. Nope, didn't work. Bear with me. There we go. Okay, I never realized how long this format is. And I might resize this depending on like the mock-ups I end up using. Moving on, so we have the background of that set. Now the next part I'm gonna do is I wanna make this kind of like big flame, like hand-drawn flame shape. Thinking maybe kind of like Wilson type shape from Castaway. I don't know why that's the first thing that's coming to my mind, but whatever. All right, so I have these 2 very different kind of hand-drawn flame shapes. Now I know they're a lot at first, but bear with me. I'm gonna give it like an off-white, throw that against the white so you can see what color it is. Maybe a little bit less pink. Let's go more towards the yellow side of things. Yeah, something more like that. So that's that one. Let's make a duplicate of this. All right, I'm kind of into that. All right. So, had a quick break because, oh boy, did I need it. Had some snacks. Snacks as in the rest of these Cheeto fries. You know, so whilst I was doing that, I felt like I just needed to rework something without like the pressure of being filmed, and like it's hard for me to always feel like I can be the most natural when I design if I'm not being watched, even though it is on camera, but whatever. So what I did is I changed out this orange. So this middle orange now is a little bit brighter than the previous orange, and I also switched up the color pattern, so now it goes yellow, orange, red from the bottom instead of yellow, red, orange from the bottom. But I also wanted to just try out if I inverted this and then grabbed this and made it. I think I like this one better. This one can go away now, but I think this option would be best. That way I have a nice darker surface to actually lay that logo onto. So my next plan of action is to add in Chester, I almost said Chester the Cheeto, Chester the Cheetah. And I want to still keep his iconography in there, but in a new, like slightly vectorized version, kind of like how they have it on the Cheeto fries here. So he's a pretty simple vector there. I'm gonna do something a little bit more modified, and hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, I will just scratch it entirely, and that's fine. So I took a little bit of a break yesterday, got distracted, put it off to filming the next day. So kind of where I got to yesterday was making this illustration for the actual bag. Now this took about an hour and a half, and I didn't film it at all because I don't want to deal with files that big in regards to screen recordings. So pretty much I made this illustration of Chester the cheetah. Chester Cheetah? I don't know. So this is just done with like the brush tool on the dissolve setting, and I just drew him based on kind of like, I don't know, what I think he looks like. So no duh. So this is the illustration we're gonna be using on the actual packaging of the bag. Now, with that being said, we hop on over to here. And so this is where I started with that illustration, and this is where we ended up. And I'm pretty happy with that. And so I'm really gonna use his face, and also I might make like little hands for him. So maybe I'll do that right now while I'm here. So I imagine his hands are gonna be like these little circles. I'm gonna merge these. So it kind of looks like he's gonna be peeking over the edge of the bag. So it's gonna be kind of like that. So he's kind of just like looking, I don't know. That's my idea. So now you can kind of see like how I made this little texture in here. So that can go right away. I'm gonna keep this really simple. And I'm gonna grab the same blue I used as a shadow. And up here is where you change your blending mode for the brush. So I'm just using a soft brush right here. That's probably one of my favorite brushes to use to do like shading and stuff. So just have it on dissolve, and it makes this like, sometimes my Wacom needs a sec. There we go. It makes this really grainy texture when you draw with it. And then if you change the opacity, it doesn't actually change the opacity of the brush, but it makes the density of the brush less. So now, like if I put it at like 50% or something, like there are significantly less dots, you know? And also this is like pressure sensitive, so I can do like more dots or less if I press lighter. So I'm just gonna go kind of lightly in. Hi, Harry. Uh-oh, he's gonna come onto my desk. Okay, get down, bud. Go on. Harry, get off my desk. You got it. I believe in you, buddy. All right. Hopefully he doesn't jump up and knock my drink over again. So after I do that, I'm just gonna go and select the hand layer, Command-Shift-I, select inverse, and delete the rest. You could do that at a mask too. I could probably easily do that as a mask. I'll do it anyway. Throw a mask on that. And then that way if I want to keep adding more, it'll just stay within those parameters. So I'm gonna go in and add a little bit of, that wasn't right, definition among these little fingers. I know they're like kind of cartoony shaped, but like from afar, they look kind of like little cartoon hands. And this is gonna be pretty small on the package anyway, so I don't really care. I'm just gonna add some more from the back so it has a little bit of a shadow like that. Now don't do what I do and never name your layers because it makes everything a lot harder, but hand. Then I'm gonna Command J, Command T, made a duplicate. We're gonna flip horizontally so it's opposite, and then we're gonna shift it over really slowly to about there. And now it's gonna go way too far. Okay, and I'm gonna merge this into a smart object because I'm really not gonna change it. Oops, like that. So now if I turn this background layer off, you can kind of see what we're looking at. So I'm gonna get rid of that, get rid of him, and this is pretty much what we're dealing with. I'm pretty happy with it. This is the first time I've really done like an actual illustration in this sense. Using this technique, I've only been playing with it a little bit. I'm just gonna select all of these and hit Command G, group it. That was a disaster. Mistake. Okay, one of my masks is messed up. That is a useless thing. Then delete that. So I'm just deleting any excess layers right now. So Command save that. I'm gonna put all of these into a group like so, and I'm just gonna kind of blow him up to fit more of the canvas size, just like that. So is this resolution perfect? No, but my canvas right now is 4,000 by 3,000, and in reality, this guy's only gonna be like 1.5 inches wide, so we're chilling on that. So that illustration is done. So I'm gonna close Photoshop so I don't destroy my processor. Literally the first illustration I made, I'm not even joking, was actually Guy Fieri. So I'm glad that I changed that. So this is what we're looking at for the main package. Oh, poor Guy Fieri. So I was playing around with some different logo placements down here before I start taking this into Photoshop to actually add some more of these details. So we have this wave, and I kind of want to... Oh God, Harry. Let's go. Let's go off my computer. Come on. There we go. Meh, not into those. I'm not mad about this at all. Okay, so I'm gonna Command Shift O that guy. And then I wanna try a little bit of a warp on it, similar to that flag, not a flag, it's a rise shape if I bend that more. Meh, not into the rise. What about the flag? So looking at their logo right now, they have like a black outline. Well, they have a white outline, a black outline, and then the yellow lettering. So I think what I want to do, okay, maybe let's work on this off of the artboard. Add some depth to it. Do my blend tool to make some, make a copy. Add some depth here. So I'm just gonna go, yes, you can do this with the 3D tool, but this is just how I like doing it. I do specified steps, and I do like 100. And then object blend make, and then it makes, let me make this white. It makes it pretty smooth. And then just do, you can expand, you don't have to expand it. So I'm just gonna make that black. I'll make this white just for now. Pretty happy with that yellow. I wonder if I grab this red and add a stroke. I'm kind of into that. Gives it a little bit of like an offset look with the black behind it. Okay, while we're here, I'm gonna add the crunchy subtext. I'm gonna add an exclamation mark to make it, pizzazz. Sometimes I really cannot stand my Wacom. It's a little big. I'm not really into this. Kind of into that. So what I'm gonna do on the flame is add some red as it comes up here. So I want that to still pop out and tuck like right under here. And then so down here, this is where I'm gonna do a lot of this hand lettering. I guess it's not like hand lettering, it's just like handset type. Let's get started. Okay, so now for this part, I'm just gonna start freehanding everything. So the first word is Flamin, and I want this to be kind of a clunkier font. Coming together pretty cool. Let's make some of these a little bit thicker. Cool, so we got that done. Dang, that's where I wanted to put the little guy down there. Okay, time to say. Okay, time to make this smaller. Cool, so now what I'm gonna do is save this as a Photoshop file so I can open this now with all of the layers in Photoshop. All right, so I saved that Illustrator file out as a Photoshop file, and if you wanna know how to do that, you just go in Illustrator up to export and then export as, and then when that window pops up, save it as a PSD. This won't work if you save it as like a regular, like try to export it as something else. You have to go into export manually in the drop down instead of just saving it. And then you have to just hit like preserve layers or something. I could have shown that, but I'm dumb. And that way you can open things up in Illustrator and it opens it up in Photoshop and it keeps everything layered for you, which is ideal. Yeah, it saves everything as paths, so everything is isolated. And this is where things start to get a little more fun. So now I'm gonna go in and add all of these other like smaller design elements that I wanted to add, like this guy. So we're gonna drag him in. Oh, he's so cute already. Okay. So Chester Cheetah is chilling in our little flame outline. And so pretty much the effect that I added on Chester Cheetah, I'm gonna add that throughout the entire bag. So kind of like that grainy look as just different elements of shading. So for this one, I wanna do like an inner glow with a dissolve on it. I'm gonna make this a smart object in this one as well. Organize your layers, keeps you sane. So for the Flamin Hot, I wanna do that little bit of an inner glow to give it some pop. Start on Flamin. So just gonna open up my layer style and go to inner glow. Oh, man, it's not inner glow. Might be. It's inner shadow. So you can already kind of see like that depth coming in a little bit. I kind of want it to look papery and kind of cut out. So you can mess with like your, you know, opacity and your blending mode, but I'm gonna switch that to dissolve. Probably lower my opacity a bit. And for this, I want this to be this red color. And then I'm just gonna mess with like the distance, choke, and size and my angle for how I want that depth to kind of pop through. So it gives it like a little bit of like that drop shadow, but you get that kind of like grainy hand done illustrative effect that I have on Chester Cheetah. Maybe it would be inner glow. Am I dumb? Am I having a major brain fart? Oh, I am. It is inner glow. If it's inner shadow, you get it only on one side instead of it getting it from all sides. So it'd be more like a shadow, but I want just like that overall depth effect as if you were looking at it from just like straight on. I hope this makes sense. You can also add noise in an inner glow, but it doesn't really matter that much since we are on dissolve. It just makes it a tiny bit grainier. So we're gonna bump up the size here. Too much. And you can also mess with like the choke, but I generally keep the choke pretty low. So as you can see, if I mess with that opacity, it doesn't actually affect the opacity of the layer, but it more so just affects the density of the dots for the dissolve. And this is really great if you're looking for a very specific like hand-done type illustrative effect. It's really great. Oh, too much. Maybe I'll try like 13. Okay, now I'm gonna go into inner shadow and see if I can kind of finagle this in any way to kind of add to the effect. Maybe make this a bit of a darker red. Nope, that just looks bad. Okay, I feel like that could still be a little bit more intense. Anyway, definitely want to keep that on precise. Maybe I'll move my choke up a bit more. Nope, so maybe 15. Up this to 30, about 20. Okay, that's pretty good. Now that you can kind of actually see it from a distance. So I'm gonna copy that, just right clicking, scrolling down to copy layer style, and then I'm gonna paste that onto my hot layer. Oop, there we go. All right, looking cute already. Got Chester Cheetah hanging out. We got this all kind of knocked out looking. Now I want to do a similar thing where I add a drop shadow to this, or maybe not an actual drop shadow, an outer glow. Do the same thing we did, but in reverse. Switch that blending mode to dissolve. Gus is getting the loudest drink ever. Right, kind of like that. I am into that. So it looks like it's really kind of jumping off the page. And so now I'm gonna go in and paint on individual effects onto each layer. So I'm gonna do like highlights and shadows to kind of give depth to the layers of flames that are building up the page. So maybe I'll start with the red. So now we have some depth going on up here that actually kind of really helps give it some dimension. So I'm gonna do that for each individual layer. So for this one, one more. For this last one, I'm gonna use just a white to tap in some little highlights on the yellow flames. Not that flames have highlights, but you get what I mean. Some highlights, select that Command-Shift-I, delete, and then one more using our orange. Just like that. Looking pretty cool. Set this to dissolve, lower that opacity some more. I try to add a little bit of a drop shadow behind Chester Cheetah, see if that'll make him pop a little bit more. Now that just looks moldy. That looks really moldy. I'll figure out a way to make him glow, but we're getting there. Almost done. After some deep pondering, it's looking too busy to me. So I want to eliminate one of the stripes, and I get it now. I get why they laid them out as like majority yellow, a little bit of red, and a little bit of orange. I get it now. So what I'm gonna do, eliminate this orange stripe, and we're gonna use the yellow one as like our base. I'm gonna tilt this to come and sit right up under, kind of like that. And now what I'm gonna do is hide those. And then I'm gonna grab the shape of this and then get rid of the excess yellow up there. Like that. I'm into that. I'm feeling it. Okay, cool, cool. Now I wanna add some depth to the type up here. It's feeling a little forgotten. So I'm gonna grab this. So I already had like this red stroke on there, and I do want to kind of build on that. Thought about a bit of a bevel, which might be a little much, so let's change out, let's just play with this. Let's see what we can do. Ooh, into that. Ooh, ooh, okay, okay. I see you. Ooh, I'm really into that. Okay, let's try to do a little bit of something else. What if I switch this to dissolve and then knock it out a little bit? Feeling kind of retro, really into that. I'm weak for like a good bevel and emboss on some type, especially if it looks kind of like liquidy. I don't know why that's so interesting to me. Okay, let's leave that for now. I kept that little bit of a red stroke so it still pops underneath there. Now I'm gonna focus on the crunchy right here. What would this look like if I added like an oval behind it? Would that be too weird? Maybe, but let's try it. Design is about vulnerability whilst designing. I'm really getting into this now. I'm really into this. All right, so now we have some depth there. Kind of like how flat that looks. This looks like the most obnoxious, like designers went to town on this, and that's exactly what's happening. But I don't care. We need to add something to this flame. They're a great beginner tablet, but at this point they're too frustrating for me. Okay. I think this inner glow needs to be a little bit darker. So I want like flaming hot, like I really want it to feel like scorching hot. Maybe I add a little bit of blue in here because that's like what really hot fire is like, right? Ooh, cute. So back to the flame. Ooh, maybe this is where I add in some blue. This is a similar blue to what I used in the detail shadow of Chester's paws. So let's see how this looks in our flame. Absolutely terrible. I feel like this could be cool if it's done right.
Captain, let me see that smile.
No, honestly, I don't think it needs it. Well, let's move on to some other flavor text. All right, so in the middle of me stopping that take, I added a white outline to the logo here. So what I think I want to do, because I'm fighting this flame shape so much, like any other texture really isn't working, so I think I want to add more shapes. So what I'm going to do is just draw in almost like these lightning bolt shapes. Now after all of this, I feel like these two should be switched. Oy vey. Okay. One sec. Okay, so that took a little bit longer than I anticipated, but what I did is I pretty much flip-flopped the transitions of these. So the more predominant red part is at the bottom and the lighter, predominantly orange part is at the top, because I really want the continuation of the color to kind of match this asteroid shape that it's kind of turned into. So what my next move is going to be is, well, let me rewind. I added these like little lightning bolts right here and these shapes, and I kind of like adjusted how I wanted those to look to match the knockout type here. So my next plan of action is I want to add kind of like a little burst right here, as if it were kind of like burning through the sky. So that's what we're gonna do. And I really do want to find a way to tie in blue, because I just really love the contrast of like these really vibrant reds and oranges with something of the blue type. And I don't know if this will work. We shall see. Honestly, I think that works the best, the yellow. It just really, that makes the most sense. Oh well. Cute. Okay, now I gotta find a way for this guy to look less meh. Maybe I just try to manually draw something in. I am into that. Now we're getting somewhere. What is this? What is... Oh, it's gone. Love those. Ghost pixels. Okay, I feel like that red needs to be slightly darker. It's getting lost. Okay, I'm just gonna paint in some little shadows as if it's kind of like... Actually, do I even want to do that? Let's try some yellow outer glow. So pretty much my next steps are just gonna be adding any smaller little flavor text, which is just like any small details like the cheese flavored snacks and made with real cheese, that type of stuff, and like the calorie count and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm not gonna walk you guys through that boring part. I'm really excited for you to see the final product. So I'm gonna do that and I will show you the final product in just a second. Okay, it's been a long day. So, well, thank you so much for sticking around through that very, very long video. If you actually made it to the end, let me know down in the comments below. But I'm sorry if this was a little bit too long for some people, but I really wanted to show kind of like my in-depth process of just how I would approach something, and also just like the calamity of the design process. And it is different for everyone. But I also want to be able to, you know, show the vulnerability of, you know, going through such a crazy kind of roller coaster of making a design. It's a lot, and it's all about, you know, kind of opening myself up to showing you guys what I go through, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Hope it wasn't too boring, but it was really fun to do. It was definitely challenging. I'm pretty happy with how everything came out. I did this over the course of 2 days. So yesterday I did probably 3 hours of work, and then today I did maybe like 4 to 5 hours of work. So just that, and it's probably gonna take another 20 plus hours of editing this. So I hope I hope you enjoy it. And if you did, leave a like down below, and you can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me, more design related videos. But also I do want to keep doing my random lifestyle content for those who don't want to necessarily watch design videos. Is this focusing on me? It's focusing on my snowball. There we go. Man, I hope that was in focus. Oh well. So I really thank you for watching, and I appreciate everyone's support. I think about the time that I upload this, I will be almost to 100K, which is pretty crazy. So thank you so much for everyone who has supported me through this crazy journey. I was in Fast Company this week, which is a huge honor in regards to my last design video, which was redesigning the coffee logos. And that's pretty crazy. I never thought I would have an article written about me. So thank you everyone for your amazing support and all of your kind words. If you are a budding graphic designer, I applaud you for stepping into the field that is this insanity. And of course, you can always reach out to me if you have any questions about anything. So my DMs are always open, my comments are always open. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye. So we're gonna be rebranding, repackaging none other than Flamin Hot Cheetos. That was terrifying. Then Flamin Hot Cheetos. So I thought we'd do none other. I said that weird. Another.